two things you need to reach your goals are mindset and action. Mindset is super important because if you have the action but you don't believe in yourself, it's going to be very hard to continue that action and continue the habits. Whereas mindset is also super important because if you're doing or excuse me, action is also super important because if you're believing that you have this great positive mindset, you think everything's going to work out for you, you can achieve it all, but you haven't really taken any action, you haven't really done anything, you haven't started any habits, you haven't taken the leap in whatever goal you're thinking of, then it's not really gonna like play out. You also have to put forth effort to get something in return, right? So it's pretty like ubiquitous, right? So I'm gonna go into practical ways you can apply, or like things you need to do for mindset, and then practical ways, and then things you need to do for action and practical ways. So mindset is super big. And I think it's very like overlooked in general because there's a lot of like different principles and things like that change your mindset. So most of it is about becoming sort of like being positive and raising your vibration or whatever. You could like think of it as just being positive basically. So there's a lot of ways you can do this. I would say the most useful ones are meditation, gratitude, positive self-talk, and affirmations. And also writing goals. So for meditation, what you do is like just having a habit of meditation. So like personally I like to do it every night. I just like to meditate for 5 minutes before I go to sleep. And you just focus on the breath and you just breathe in and out, trying not to control the breath, and then when you have a thought, you sort of just change the thought, or not change the thought, but you just like see the thought, you witness it, and then you just kind of focus back to your breath and then continue on. You'll get a ton of thoughts and it'll get better over time. Then gratitude, which is basically, there's a lot of ways you can do it, but I think the easiest one is just gratitude journaling. So what I do is like 5 minutes a day, I just write things I'm grateful for. I just think of like, it could be like I'm grateful for my phone because just like off the top of my head, I'm grateful for my phone because it allows me to like contact people. It's nice. It's like a resource for me. It's useful to take notes and things like that. That's a positive. So you're grateful and you just that helps you like flip your mindset, and it's like a structured time for you to practice being positive. It's basically like positivity practice because if you're being grateful for something, you can't really be feeling bad about it at the same time. It doesn't really work that way, right? So it's nice. It puts you in a different frame of mind. Then I'm not sure if this is the right order, but positive affirmations. So basically, this one is like the way I understand this one is like when you get a negative thought about yourself or about your capabilities of doing things, anything like that, or your self-image, you change it and sort of say something else. So let's take this example. This is something that's been like a huge thing for me is like, I've always been like super insecure about how I look, I guess. So when I would get a thought of like, oh, you're super ugly. That's like, I used to have like these thoughts every single day, just like, you're super fucking ugly, Jesus Christ. It's like, it was pretty shitty, but anyways. You change this thought and you think, okay, you ask questions about it. So is this logical? No, I mean, not really. Like, even though maybe in that moment of like depression or whatever, you're thinking that. But is it logical? No, because no one's like calling me ugly. Like, it's not rooted in real life, right? Basically. Then you have to like give yourself understanding. So like you have to give yourself like some explanation of this. So let me just do an example. So like your thought is like, I'm bad at reading, okay? And you want to change this, so you're like, okay, I am now good at reading because remember that one time when I read that book? That's like some evidence that I'm good at reading. So you have to like give your brain evidence basically to change the thoughts. Okay. So we have meditation, gratitude, positive affirmations, goal setting. There's one more. Goal setting. So it's basically writing down your goals, and it has to be like handwritten, I think, because you can do it on your phone. That's helpful, I think, but having it on paper just cements it differently. It's just like a different way. So I think what I've done is like, I can't really show you, but like I have goals like on my my wall, like taped to my wall, and then like I have some goals in papers and like, paper form and stuff like that, and I try to review it. So this helps you to like focus your mind because you get what you focus on. So you can like focus your mind onto the things you want, and if you review every day, then you'll focus on those things and you'll get those things because that's what you're focusing on. Like you can imagine it like if you really wanted like this blue sports car, like a Lamborghini, a blue Lamborghini or something like that, and that was all you thought about. You just really wanted this blue Lamborghini. Anytime you saw this blue Lamborghini, you'd be like super focused on it. Or we could say like a Civic maybe, so it's more common. So like you wanted a blue Honda Civic, right? I don't know exactly why, but you really want this blue Honda Civic. So you thought about it a lot. You had a picture of it, and you were really focused on it. Every time you see a Honda Civic, you're gonna be like, you're gonna be like, oh, this is everywhere. Like you can see it everywhere, basically. So it's like that. Okay. Affirmations, self-talk, gratitude, and then just like changing your mindset from positive to negative, as like changing your thoughts basically. So this is a little bit different from the affirmations because it's not so much about the self-image. It's more about like your perception of the world itself. So there will be an event that occurs. It could be an event that you might have thought of as negative in the past. So it could be like, let's say you stubbed your toe. I don't know. It doesn't really matter that much. So it could be like you stubbed your toe. And in the past you think, damn, this really sucks. I'm in pain. I hate this stupid table, and you're like trying to fight the table or something like that. But then you try to change this now that you understand this, to, okay, this is good because I learned not to walk so carelessly so that I would hit my toe on the table. It's also a moment for me to practice emotional control and not just react immediately. So those are positive things. It could be like there's like a ton of ways you can think positively of certain actions, and it's much easier if you're feeling good. Like if you're feeling good in the moment, it's much easier to think positively. So, all these things kind of like cycle and spiral into like a positive direction if you do all that. Now, action. I think my camera's gonna overheat. So action, basically, is it gonna overheat? Whatever. So basically, action is also super important, like I said, and the ways you do this are, number one, so focus on like a thing you want to do. So it could be like the habit of the thing, whatever it is. I don't know. An easy one is just lifting, I guess, or like exercise in general. So if you're having trouble with this action, this activity, this habit you want to start, the first thing you should do is just make sure you're doing it every day at a consistent time. So it could be 2 minutes. It could literally be 2 minutes. It could be 1 minute, just to get yourself in the habit of starting the action. Just starting the habit, and eventually you can work it up. So you just do like 1 minute of this thing the first day. You do 1 push-up, or 10 push-ups maybe. The next day you do 20 push-ups. After 3 days you're doing 30 push-ups. Then if you go to the gym for 20 minutes, and you keep building it up, just build the habit. It's super important to just start small if you're completely stumped, because it's much better to like do 1 minute of the thing and build momentum than do nothing and prolong your stasis, right? Then you also need to have a motivator, because there's like this whole hard work stuff, which is definitely true. Like you need discipline 100%, but it's very hard to consistently discipline yourself when you have no motivation. It's much easier if you have motivation. And I think there's kind of like two ways to get motivation. So you can think of the thing you want, like continuing with the gym habit or like the exercise habit. You want this physique, you want the muscles, you want the girls that come with it, you want the respect from other people that comes with it, you want just the feeling of being big and strong, stuff like that. Right? That is super motivating. And it helps you to like see that. But something that I think helps like even more is kind of like what are you running away from? What are you trying not to be? You kind of have to like stoke the pain a little bit for yourself. So you can like visualize yourself if you don't do this. If you don't start going to the gym, and you can apply this to other things if you're starting with something else. Visualize yourself 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, if you never do this thing. If in 5 years you still haven't gone to the gym, you haven't done any cardio, and you haven't done any exercise, and you're looking down and you have like, like flabs, and you're like, you're depressed, and you have like no strength about you, no, people don't respect you, you just feel bad. I mean, it's much more motivating to be like running away from something you really don't want to than it generally is for something that you're super like, I want this, just for most people. And I don't know, I think that's like different person to person and thing to thing, but it's definitely something to keep in mind. So yeah, my camera's about to overheat, so have a good one. If you need any coaching's down below. Yeah, and if you need any like help, anything, all the ways, all the mistakes I made through trials and tribulations to get to where I am. Yeah, coaching down below. Peace. Have a good one. Peace. Said peace line.